Luca Marenzio.
Thank you. Yeah.
Luca Marenzio is the composer. I'm glad you forgot to, because that would have been embarrassing.
I'll try to like fluff over it.
I was trying to fluff it through, and then I thought I'd dump you in it, but that didn't work. Anyway, so Luca Marenzio is the is the Italian composer who wrote the madrigals based on this text called Il Pastor Fido, the Faithful Shepherd, which is the most popular secular work of its time. Anyway, Eleanor has done these images, which are going to be kind of projected. Is that right?
Yeah, it can be viewed kind of either digitally or projected kind of live. And I think it's the whole piece and all is kind of just, it's lasting about 50 minutes. So there's kind of quite a kind of large body of work, which will be kind of, projected alongside the music, which is very beautiful.
Okay.
Who wrote it?
Before I started, this recording, I said, we were talking about this project you did. How long ago was this now? 5, 6 years? Yeah,
I think maybe even 7. Was it Anna? Yeah.
Yes, it was. So basically, she teamed up with her sister, who is the composer Anna Meredith, to put on this project based around Vivaldi's Four Seasons. Basically, Anna kind of reinvented Vivaldi's music in her kind of very distinctive way, and Eleanor contributed her images, which was based on the music, and they merged them together and put them on in a very trendy warehouse. So this project now made me immediately think of that.
It's not a million miles away in terms of, I mean, actually, I think it was commissioned on base of someone seeing that project and thinking, oh, it would work. They wanted to kind of work in a similar way. And this story is quite complex and it's quite hard to follow. So they kind of wanted to kind of help, I guess kind of bring it to life and kind of add something through the visuals to kind of help, help the audience a little bit out.
Okay, is the idea behind it something similar to the idea behind the Vivaldi, and that you're trying to bring the madrigals and the text that they're based on up to date in a way and make them seem more contemporary?
I guess it is in a tiny way, in that like the imagery I mean, some of it's kind of digitally produced and stuff, but actually the world is still in a kind of I've made it in this like kind of, because it involved kind of gods and lovers, I made it in a kind of neoclassical world, so it's not as new as the Vivaldi work. It's some of it is quite abstract imagery, and other parts of it are quite figurative, where I'm trying to kind of describe what's happening in the part of the story with the different characters in it. So
so a little mixture there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Can I ask a little bit about you as an artist? Well, first of all, tell me a bit about your background and how you made your journey to where you are now.
I guess I worked in illustration, and I've worked often a bit with animation as well, side by side. I have kind of been working on kind of both commissions and kind of self-initiated projects, I'd say, for the last 10-15 years, and so occasionally working in animation. But when I say in animation, it's kind of more moving image rather than kind of full kind of actual frame by frame animation. I'm more comfortable with still imagery itself, and a lot of the artwork for this project was generated by hand, and kind of just scanned in and manipulated from there and composited together. So it was very, I mean, I guess in some ways quite simple techniques that I was using, and often just with a lot of kind of watercolors and inks and scanning, really were the kind of main ways that I kind of was working here.
Okay, and so I mean, obviously your sister's a composer, and this isn't the first time you worked with music. Did you also play an instrument as a
I did, but I kind of it didn't go too far. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess also I kind of stopped at school, but and then
What did you play?
the oboe.
Okay. Say it like it's a dirty word.
I know, but it was just such like an awkward, yeah, just an awkward instrument, isn't it? And yeah, so I stopped. But then I've always worked with my sister since I kind of was at college really. So for a really long time, and kind of used to do live drawing in concerts, and kind of
Okay,
I've
didn't know
done
that you
that
did
quite a lot.
that.
Yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, I haven't done that for a long time, but yeah, so I've kind of worked collaboratively and kind of responding to music for quite a long time.
Okay, okay. When you say live drawing and concerts, do you mean concerts of various musicians?
Yeah, like so initially I guess it was with my sister, and like when they used to have the Camberwell Composers Collective, I used to come along to their concerts and draw, and it would be projected. And then I guess it kind of slightly kind of built on there, where I kind of worked with other people and kind of drew and kind of responded to the music, and it'd be projected. So
Okay, that's
yeah.
it. So how easily do you think music lends itself to being kind of interpreted visually?
Um,
You.
I Yeah, I think it can. I think you have to be quite careful, because it can be really heavy-handed, and sometimes when I think it can kind of dominate sometimes, because it can be. I mean, for me personally, I'm often like really kind of just can get quite focused on whatever is being projected. But yeah, no, I mean, for myself, I kind of really enjoy responding, and I like the kind of surprise of it, and especially, I mean, it's quite nerve-wracking if you're doing something live, but I think to me it makes a lot of sense to try and piece it together, and yeah, try and make sense of it.
Do you automatically get pictures in your head when you listen to music?
um Sometimes, especially if I'm told to make them.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like a yeah.
No,
Like
no,
mission focused
no, I think
environment.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, no, sometimes it's quite clear. It's not, I think, I mean, often the way I work is in response to what I'm drawing anyhow. So yeah, it's not as clear for me as I'm listening, oh, and it must be something like this. It's often I'll kind of start working and it'll be in response to what I've been drawing, and then it will kind of grow like that. It's a kind of building process rather than a kind of clear vision.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
uh-huh. Okay, okay, as in it evolves basically.
exactly.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because sometimes, because I have seen things where these kind of multimedia projects where the visuals get in the way
Yeah,
sometimes, or even sometimes undermine the music,
yeah,
make
yeah,
it less than what it is, I guess.
yeah,
And then other
yeah,
times where it's done very cleverly. So yeah, I just kind
yeah.
of like what you feel.
And I mean, I guess, I mean, it was different with this project, but I mean, sometimes I guess if you're working from scratch, like, and it's new music, then you can be kind of quite clever. Like I guess with that Anno project we were discussing, like we were starting from the beginning together, so it was always kind of hand in hand, apart from Vivaldi, obviously. So you could kind of figure out what it was like. It was definitely a kind of a back and forth as to how it was going to work. I mean, with this project, it was written how many years ago? 300 years ago? No, much more than that. Anyhow, it was written a long time ago, and I guess yeah, it becomes a lot more about your interpretation, obviously, rather than, I mean, and I worked a lot with Hannah from Fieri Consort, but to kind of figure out kind of how it would be best to kind of um, how best to do it, because it's quite a big unwieldy story, so it was quite hard and it could have gone off in lots of different directions.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
so yeah, it was quite hard to kind of pin it down. Yeah.
to kind of contain it.
Yeah, exactly. And also because it's so long and in lots of different sections, and to explain so much, and it's, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that it can be easier in a way to work with somebody on it, and you know what the composer themselves are thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way of asking somebody.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ellen, thank you so much for talking to me about it.